I'm having so much fun knitting up this texture with these diamond shapes that give it a raised and pillowy design. My new Sea Cliff Seersucker hat knitting pattern creates this loose-fitting textured beanie.
Hi, I'm Kristen and welcome back to Studio Knit.
For your knitting supplies, we're using worsted weighted yarn. I'm using Cascade 220 Superwash Merino. They have great colors and I really like the way it feels. And then number 7 knitting needles. We'll have 1 circular needle and then 4 double pointed needles, and that's to finish knitting up the crown. Of course, you'll want to have scissors and a tapestry needle on hand as well. I've designed this pattern with 5 different hat sizes to choose among. And you'll find all the specific written instructions for free over on my website, Studio Knit, as well as a paid printable PDF over in my Studio Knit shop. So let's knit up this cute little 2-color extra small knitting hat together. Topping it off with a faux fur pom-pom is always super fun. And if you like this easy knit and purl hat pattern, please like up this video. It lets me know you'd like to see more. Step 1, we are casting on our stitches, and that depends on your hat size. So since I am knitting up the extra small size, I am casting on 80 stitches onto my circular needle. Step 2, we're knitting the brim, and I've designed it in this twisted rib stitch. Place a marker at the beginning of your round. I'm just using a little scrap yarn here. And of course, as always, join without twisting your stitches. For this ribbing, we're knitting through the back loop. So that's the KTBL, knit through the back loop. And that creates a twisted knit stitch. And I'm keeping it simple by just doing a regular purl stitch. And we continue all the way around, knitting through the back loop once, purling once, and repeating that pattern for 6 rounds of ribbing. And then we are going to do just 1 row of knitting. Now, if you choose to change yarn colors, this last row, row 7 of just knitting all the way around on the brim, this is where you change your yarn colors. Of course, if you're just keeping it in 1 yarn color, no need to change yarn colors, just knit all the way around, and it's time to move on to step 3. Where we're knitting the body of our hat in the seersucker stitch. Of course, all the written instructions are available to you. I will have those linked in the description below. This seersucker stitch is simply knits and purls. It is one of my most popular patterns from my knit stitch pattern book, so I thought it would be great to create a knitting project from it for you. One part of the pattern I want to draw your attention to is once you've decided which hat size you would like to knit up, make sure to follow the pattern to see exactly where you start in the seersucker pattern. Different hat sizes start at row 1 of the seersucker pattern or at row 5. So just please be mindful before you get started. If you would like to change yarn colors yet again, here is my trick. Begin with the new yarn color, and before continuing on in the seersucker stitch, knit 1 entire round, only knits. Now this is deviating slightly from the pattern, but it's just 1 row of knits. This allows you to avoid those purl dash lines that occur when changing yarn colors. And you'll see that when we have these yarn color changes, that 1 row is completely imperceptible. It simply looks like the seersucker stitch all the way through. Step 4 is the crown, where we're decreasing rows. When you're ready, you will want to change to double pointed needles once it becomes too tight to keep all of those stitches on your circular needle. And I've designed this crown so the seersucker texture continues all the way to the final 6 stitches. Knitting with double pointed needles sometimes is a little fiddly, so just give yourself a little grace, have some patience, and they go by really quickly, so take your time on this. And you'll be decreasing until you have just 6 stitches remaining. Step 5, it is time to finish. Our finishing, we are going to weave in our yarn ends, cut our yarn, and if you'd like, you may block your hat. Although this is one of those patterns that I find blocking really is not necessary. It's simply optional. And if you'd like, add that pom-pom topper and you are done. I hope you're inspired to give this Seacliff Seersucker hat knitting pattern a try. I'm pretty sure this will become a knitter's favorite, and I have even more popular knitting hats for you, so check those out next, and I will see you there.